What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Hope all you had a great weekend so far. Hope you're having a great day. This virus that's going around is just getting out of control. It's getting ridiculous. What's crazy to me is it's sad that you have to tell a bunch of people, oh, keep washing your hands, and that shit that you should have been doing. Nobody should have to tell you to wash your hands. Like, I wash my hands probably 50, 60, 70 times a damn day. Probably 80. Like, that's just me. I'm constantly washing my hands. Like, I've been doing that long before a virus even was brought up. You know what I mean? Because that's just what I do. I keep hand sanitizer around me whenever I shake somebody's hand or whatever. Because, you know, that's just me. But I'm sort of a germaphobe. Now, I'm not OCD with it, but I anything I touch or whatever, I just like to wash my hands because, people obviously touched it before you did. So that's why I generally wash my hands. But this thing is getting ridiculous, though. But I hope everybody's staying safe. Self-quarantine. That self-quarantine thing is ridiculous to do because a lot of us have to work for a living. So it's kind of hard to tell everybody to stay in the house. Hillary Duff, the actress, she basically called young millennials assholes because they keep going out. Now, I understand where she's coming from as far as like going out to party and stuff like that. I get it. But to tell us not to go out, period, that's impossible to do when you have to pay your bills. Sorry that I'm not a fucking millionaire that can sit on my ass and just, stay in the crib every day, all day. I got to go out and actually make a living. I don't have millions sitting in the bank to where I can, just chill out and not do nothing. I wish I did, but I don't. So anyway, so I hope everybody's staying safe. If you are self-quarantining, I hope that you're finding some interesting things to keep you busy if you can't go outside. So getting into this episode of GH, interesting episode, actually. Very interesting. Let me just break down this Franco Elizabeth situation. So the pipes burst in their basement. Now their basement is completely underwater. So they need some money to get that fixed. Okay. So Franco goes to Scott and he asks for $100,000. What the fuck do you need with $100,000? First of all, let's break this down. I understand the whole leaky pipe situation, but $100,000 is not. You don't need $100,000 to fix no leaky pipe. I'm sorry, but you don't. You don't need $100,000 to fix that basement up and get the, a burst pipe. That shit ain't gonna cost you that much. It depends, but it shouldn't cost you that much money. I've seen some stuff on Twitter during the episode. I've seen some stuff on Twitter, the message boards, where some people was tweeting and saying how they don't feel sorry for Elizabeth and Franco's money issues because they should have an emergency fund and they're at a particular age where they should have an emergency fund. Elizabeth is a surgical nurse who makes good money. Franco made a bunch of money off his art. Let me just break this down for y'all. For those who don't know, let me just break this down. Franco did make millions off of his art, but obviously he was sued by the victims' families, so he lost all that money. Then he made some more money at another art show, I guess, or whatever, where he was offering to pay Kiki's college tuition or whatever. That money, I don't know what the fuck he did with that after Kiki died. I don't know. Here's the thing, though. Yes, Elizabeth is a surgical nurse. She does make pretty good money at the hospital. Franco also works at the hospital, obviously, as doing art therapy, which I'm pretty sure he pulls in a pretty good salary himself. But here's the gotcha. Not everybody has an emergency fund. You don't have to be a particular age to have an emergency fund. I don't have a fucking emergency fund because I can't afford to have an emergency fund right now. Because it's like when you live paycheck to paycheck, it's hard to sock money away and stuff because you got shit. Every time you get paid, you got a new bill that's that you got to pay out of that check with that. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to have an emergency fund. And it's even harder for people that got kids. Look at Elizabeth and Franco. They got 3 boys living in the house. 3 boys. You know how expensive it is to take care of a child, let alone 3? Furthermore, they both live paycheck to paycheck. They don't own any real major assets or anything like that. So, I mean, how... Break it down. Like, you're living in New York. They live in New York. You know how expensive it is to live in New York with 3 boys, a family of 5? It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And Franco basically told Scott, he was like, I got to get the boys new sports stuff because obviously they must have after school activities, which cost money. I'm surprised though they ain't got no type of insurance though, like flood insurance or something like that. That's what kind of spooked me a little bit. I'm like, okay, y'all had a flood, your basement is underwater right now, you should have insurance for that. But maybe they do, maybe they don't. They didn't mention it, but it don't seem like they have insurance for that, which is kind of crazy to me. Because you should definitely have some type of flood insurance, water, some type of insurance. But yeah, it's expensive, man, because after school programs, they're costly. So, you got to pay for that. Plus, Franco and Elizabeth have 3 cars right now. They're helping Cam pay for his car. They got 2 cars. They got to put gas in all 3 of them cars. They got to pay for parking for all 3 of them cars. Cam is going to college soon. You gotta buy food. Obviously they're not on food stamps, so they gotta pay for food out of pocket, which is expensive with a family of 5. Utilities, bro, they got bills like out the gluteus maximus. Like, break down the finances here. Like who the hell would have emergency funds like when you got a family of 5 and you live paycheck to paycheck and you got all that shit that you gotta pay? Them bills don't stop. And they sometimes, them bills double up sometime. You know what I mean? Like, come on now. $100,000, I still think with everything they got going on, you don't need no $100,000. But, Scott was, basically telling them that he could, take out a loan on his little bachelor pad or whatever to help Franco out. Because Franco's art right now is not bringing in any money. So he's trying to do something to bring in some money. And some people were saying, oh, why can't Elizabeth go to Jason? She got a rich baby dad or whatever. First of all, it would be easy for her to go to Jason for some money, but there's a couple of problems with her doing that. One, she's married. And that would emasculate the hell out of her husband if she went to her baby father for some money when her husband is already feeling low because he feels like he can't provide for them the way that he wants to provide. You know what I mean? So you know how demeaning that would make him feel? That, how low that would make Franco feel to know that his wife went to her ex/baby dad to get some money? That would make him feel like less of a fucking man. I'm just saying, like, come on now. That would totally just humiliate him beyond repair at this point. Come on. That would mess with his self-esteem, everything. And I don't think Liz would do that anyway. She's just not going to do it. She doesn't call Jason for no money and nothing like that. She's not going to do that. No. She wouldn't do that. I would hope she wouldn't, but you never know. I'm just hoping that she wouldn't. So anyway, they'll figure it out. I like this story that they're trying to tell with Franco and them going through a little bit of financial issues because it's realistic. We all have our, financial setbacks and stuff. A lot of people are just not rolling in the dough, which is, totally realistic. So anyway, Elizabeth is more so worried about her sister right now because she's trying to figure out why the hell Hayden ain't, coming back to town. Especially when Nicholas revealed himself to everybody in his public knowledge now that he's back. So she's trying to figure out, like, why is she coming back? And she's totally pissed off because, Finn is pissed off too because Violet's birthday is coming up. And they still haven't heard anything from Hayden. Nicholas isn't answering any of Finn's phone calls. And Liz wants some answers about her damn sister. And of course, Nicholas doesn't have any. So anyway, Ava, she's sitting here trying to remodel Wyndemere and stuff. And Nicholas was like, okay, you had a bunch of contractors and stuff at Wyndemere, and I told him to get the hell out. She was pissed off because she wants to make some changes. And he's like, we're not changing shit. So you could forget that. I don't blame Ava for wanting to make changes to the place. If I moved in Wyndemere, there would definitely have to be some changes. Because I'm not that fond of some of the furniture pieces up in here. Like, I'm really not. It's not my taste personally. So some of that shit would have to go. Like that brown leather couch, that shit would have to go. That would be the first to go. We're going to have to get some new paint up in there, wallpaper, something. Like, we need to add a little color to that motherfucker because it's a little dreary, a little dark up in there. We're going to have to lighten that bitch up. Something. Because I can't live in no dark, glary, drooby house. Like, I just can't do it. We got to get a little bit of flavor up in there. I'm just saying. But Nicholas is not having that because he's hoping that Spencer will forgive him and come home. So he doesn't want to change anything because Spencer loves the decor, I guess. I don't know why. I don't know what kid would love that decor, but I guess. And Ava was basically just telling him, like, you can apologize all you want to, and it's easy for you to apologize. That's the easy part. The easy part, basically what she was trying to tell Nicholas is it's easy for anybody to apologize for any mistakes or wrongdoings, but making up for those, that's the hard part. That's the hard part, is making up for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really the hard part to it. It's easy to apologize. You can apologize till you blue in the face. That's easy. Hell, I can do that, even though I don't like to apologize to nobody. But it's easy to do. It's just the make up part, because you still, I'm sorry is not enough. I'm sorry is never going to be enough. You can say you apologize all you want to, but sometimes sorry ain't going to cover it. And what Nicholas did, sorry is just not going to cover it. Your actions have to cover it. Like, first of all, you got to give people their space and their time. And you got to, let your actions do the damn talking. Your mouth could do all of this all you want, but your actions got to do more. You know what I mean? You got to do more with your actions, period. And I love how Ava was just trying to drop some knowledge on him. But, she hoping that his ass cheat. Because he basically was telling her, like, you can move back to your penthouse. Publicly. Basically, he wants publicly for them to look like a happy, loving couple. But privately, they can do their own thing. Like, live separately, whatever. Ava was basically like, oh, leave you alone. So what? You could cheat and break the prenup, the post-nup. So that way I can get everything. They are really trying to play cat and mouse with each other with this damn post-nuptial agreement. I'm like, the question is, who's going to cheat first? That's the big question. Who's going to do first? So anyway, moving on from that. Anna is sitting here all gung-ho because she's happy as shit that her son is allegedly innocent, even though we know his ass is not. And Robert ain't believing that shit either. Robert just looking at her like, he ain't no damn innocent. And Anna's pissed off because Robert doesn't believe it, but she feel like Robert don't believe it because he just don't like Peter. And Robert basically told her, I hope for your sake that Peter is innocent, for your sake, because if he's not, it's going to hurt you. You're the one that's going to be hurt by it. You, Maxie, y'all going to be the ones hurt by it, so he hopes for their sake that they're right. But Robert doesn't believe he's innocent anyway, because the evidence pointing to Liesl is just too neatly wrapped up. Like, there's way too much evidence against Liesl for it to make sense. Way too much. And all of a sudden, like, they just so happen to find this evidence right around the time Jason and them were poking around in Peter's business. Like, Robert ain't buying that bullshit. And I think part of me feels like Finn ain't really buying it neither. He's still trying to keep a side eye on Peter because I don't think he's fully buying it either. I'm just angry that Finn is drinking that little bit of Kool-Aid and he moved back in. I'm like, why? Why are you doing that? Like, come on now. Come on, Finn. You're better than this. I had high hopes for you. You're a smart individual. So anyway, moving on from that. Britt went to go see Liesl in the afterglow of her sexual escapade with Julian. And of course, she wants to believe her mother. But, I mean, I understand why most of the people in that town don't really believe Obrecht because of all the shenanigans that she's pulled in the last few years. I could totally understand that. It's like the boy who cried wolf. You know what I mean? Like, I totally get it. She done pulled a lot of shenanigans. So, of course, you're going to question her, her honesty and stuff like that. Of course you are. Who wouldn't? I would. But, I mean, you got to look at the bigger picture, too. You got to look at it from both sides. And see which one makes more sense. And even Obrecht said it. She was like, if I were to hire somebody, it damn sure wouldn't be no incompetent ass hitman. I said, exactly. And she was like, if I wanted somebody dead, their ass would be dead. There would be no almost dead. They would be dead. That's why I love me some Obrecht. She don't play no games. So, Britt just basically came there to hear her side of the story. But Britt pretty much walked away from her too because she was like, you know what? I done busted my ass the last 5 years. I done been through so much the last 5 years. She finally got her life back on track, got her medical license back. She had to work hard to get it, and she just don't want to embroil herself in no more foolishness. So she had to walk away from it. I feel bad that so many people don't walked away from Obrecht. Like, y'all all are going to be kissing her ass when y'all find out the truth. That Peter set this all up. Y'all will be kissing her feet. And rubbing them motherfuckers too. Because it's a shame how many people, like her close friend, turned his back on her. Now her daughter is walking away too. I'm like, God damn. But she got a lifeline today. Robert. Because Robert... who is pretty much not an ally of hers, more like an old enemy, has now turned into a frenemy. He's an ally now, you know, because he believes that Peter is guilty of sin, and he wants Obrecht's help to catch his ass. So she has a new lease on life at this point. She has a new lifeline, which is good. I'm glad somebody believe her, because that's my boo. I love me some Obrecht. So anyway, moving on from that. So Brando gets Johnny Zakara's old garage pretty much to run. Sonny and Jason want him to run the garage or whatever, basically, you know, but Brando is suspicious because, you know, he's an ex-con or whatever. He don't want nothing to do with no potential mob front or whatever, but Sonny and Jason were like, this ain't no damn front. So when Sonny leave, him and Jason start talking, and he wants to know the real deal or whatever, like asking Jason, oh, are you a hitman, an enforcer or whatever for Sonny? Jason talking about, oh, I'm just his best friend. Sonny's a stand-up guy. Jason, stop kissing his ass. You know how Jason do. He's got to kiss Sonny's buttocks all the time. Oh, he's an upstanding guy. Jason, stop the bullshit. I still don't trust Brando, though. I don't trust him. I don't trust Gladys. I don't trust Dev. I don't trust them. Something in the milk just ain't clean with them. Like, I don't trust... I don't know. A part of me just... I don't trust a lot of people on this show. Not just real life, but on this show, like when you get new people that come in the show, like I just don't trust it. Something be a little fishy. Some stories don't be adding up. It just seemed not clean. So anyway, Sonny and them might want to watch Brando a little bit more closely. So anyway, Julian goes into his office, and of course Sonny's there, wondering why Julian paid for Brad's legal defense. Knowing everything that Brad did, why the hell would Julian pay? So it makes Sonny think that maybe Brad had some dirt on Julian. So he's thinking maybe Julian had something to do with the baby swap. And he told him, he was like, if you had anything to do with keeping my grandson away from Michael, he was like, I'm going to have to do something about that. So now Sonny's on to it. Sonny's suspicious as well now. So that's another person who's on to Julian shit. I'm like, Julian, you might as well pick out a spot in the Pine Barrens. In the Pine Barrens, get your damn shovel and start digging up a good spot for you, because that's where you're going to be going soon. If you don't get it together, you better cover up your tracks and do it quickly, rather expeditiously. So anyway, Carly and Josslyn are talking about protection in school and what they're going to do with this new threat or whatever. So basically, Carly doesn't want her going back to school right now. She wants to homeschool her. She wants her to pick a teacher or whatever to be her tutor. And of course, she picks Dustin. Not surprising. Josslyn pretty much wants Dustin to be her homeschool teacher, basically. I was like, she's saying her flirting with that old man. Well, he not old, but you know, he too old for her. So you already know she probably gonna try to, you know, get with him or whatnot. Because at first she was talking about maybe, you know, Jax could take her back to Australia or whatever, but then she decided not to go. And then she was asking Carly all these little stupid questions about does she ever just want to walk away from this life, you know, that lifestyle with the mob or whatever. And Carly be like, yeah, sometimes she do want to just bail, but she know that she won't, you know. And of course we all know Carly ain't going nowhere. I mean, I'm glad, you know, Carly and Josslyn have that type of relationship where they could talk about what's bothering each other. You know, like she always does consider Josslyn's feelings to a degree. But if Carly was not going to bail on that lifestyle with Sonny years ago, she's not going to do it now. Carly's in way too deep to bail, so that ain't never going to happen. It's just not going to go down. So anyway, this was a pretty good episode. Hit the comment section. Let me know what y'all thought about it. I will see y'all all later. Hope you all have a great day. Peace.